Roles of a denizen. A content creator is a user that creates posts and is rewarded based on the quality of their content. A content evaluator is a user that helps assess the quality of content and enforces community standards. The evaluator is effectively taking part in a marketplace to curate content and is rewarded for early evaluation. A content consumer is a user that wishes to find and consume the most valuable content in a given subject area or within a community. A lair owner is a person holding tokenized ownership of all or part of a community lair. Owners are rewarded with a portion of all mining activity happening within their lair. Owners are incentivized to build the best community of content creators and evaluators.
Good Wednesday morning, and welcome to another episode of Coffee with Den, the best coffee show on Den. What is today?
Incidentally, also the only coffee-related show on Den, so it's not like the competition's super fierce.
This is true. I've got Gravity Crab with us. T Swifter Die is traveling. I think he's in New York or something, so he's not going to be here with us today. And it's the 27th of April, so we're almost into May. May 1st is this weekend. So we are basically done with, after this week, we're done with April. Out of it. Finished.
Good. I had way too much stuff to deal with in April, and I'm kind of glad not to have to deal with it anymore. Jackie planned a whole baby shower and all that crazy stuff. And
yeah, those are. I end up avoiding those myself.
It wasn't terrible. Cassie made a bunch of stuff, so it was nice.
So we've got. We talked a little bit about the layers last week, but I
forgot coffee. I'll be right back.
Oh yeah, go for it. We've got layers we talked about a little bit last week. We talked to Florian a lot last week too. But those layers are live now. You can actually go into them. I've got them linked here. If you go to the coffee post in the Den layer, you'll see them linked, and you can go to the individual layers, check them out, start posting in there. And then the original announcement post is linked as well. So if you want to dig into that and see what's up. These layers, just to jump into that real quick, these layers will need artwork. So if you are an artist, you can either go in, if you happen to be one of the people that voted on these layers, you already have what's called lot, and your name will show up at the top of the list here under, I don't know, what's the button say? Layer information. And if you have one of those, you can propose to add some artwork, or you can vote on something that somebody else proposes. So think about what kind of artwork might go at the beginning, at the top of the layer. They don't have any avatars or anything yet. So that'll be cool to check out. It looks like some people have already been posting in them. So we'll look into that a little bit today. And then in general, we've got some good questions that I think is really good feedback and questions talking about Den, elaborating on Sticky DAO, talking about the Matter token and its price as determined by the open market. And then let's see what else we have to talk about. Some Ethereum stuff, and we
had some good questions and comments in there.
Yes, we did. Yeah, and the ability for other DAOs to use other outside of Den tokens to reward their users, that kind of thing. So we'll discuss that.
Oh, that's interesting.
Boom. And that's basically going to be our conversation today. I think that's good, though, because
I missed all of that.
Yeah, so we haven't gotten around to doing the top posts from different layers the last couple of shows, which is fine. We just had other stuff we were talking about. But I think keeping it a little bit thin, just talking about the new layers, talking about the questions that denizens have, and then just roaming around Den and looking at stuff.
Today's a fairly laid back show, I believe.
We did get our mining layer, so that's cool.
I saw we got the mining layer. Also, are you getting a tattoo?
So the deal was
So
Those,
yes, I think it should just you should just get a tattoo.
well, the deal was that if tattoos and beer won, I would get a tattoo. I will get a tattoo, just not part of this at the moment. I don't know what I kind of know what the tattoo is going to be. So maybe I'll actually, that's a good place to explore that. I should talk about what my first tattoo is going to be over in the tattoos layer. I'm probably going to get a perk.
Actually. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of neat, actually. I've never thought about that. Doing a
Yeah.
Fallout Perk Boy or about Fallout Perk Boy. Wow.
Yeah.
Is the Pip Boy also the perk guy, or is it a different guy?
It's the same dude. Yeah, the Vault Boy.
But yeah, the Vault Boy, because the Pip Boy is actually not the Vault Boy.
The Pip Boy is the thing on your arm.
Yeah, well, the Pip Boy is also a little gold and red guy.
That's the Vault Boy.
No, there's also a Pip Boy.
What's the Pip? Okay, so we're going to take time out of our show this morning to look up the difference.
Go look up like the Pip Boy from Fallout 2, and you'll find out that there's a little Pip Boy
so
guy.
Segue. We'll get to the user feedback in a minute.
We'll get to real stuff in the
Fallout 2 Pip Boy.
Yep.
Versus Vault.
Vault Boy.
BOI.
Yep.
Facts you didn't know. Let's just look at images. And I shouldn't have gone to Google.
So that little red and yellow guy.
This fella.
Yeah, that's Little Pip. He's the Pip Boy.
Oh, I didn't really know. See, I didn't play Fallout 2 really.
You really should.
Okay.
I mean, it is a completely different game, and it's not like I don't know if it's the kind of game that you can sink your brain into easily. But man, if you can get past some of the clunky stuff, it's one of the best games I've ever played in my life.
I do want to have more time in my life so that I can stream like, oh, I've never played Fallout 2. Let's play Fallout 2. That kind of thing over in the gaming layer.
Let's stream Fallout 2 together. Like that would be a blast. It would go exponentially quicker.
Yeah, that's true. That would be great because I've already got a couple of things I want to do over there, and I got to just start scheduling time on my calendar and blocking other stuff out, which is fine. I've just been reluctant to do that because I always feel like, oh, when I'm playing games, I could be doing something more productive. But the few times that I have
than Fallout.
Yeah, the few times that I have put some stuff up in the gaming layer like that, it's been well received. So I should keep doing it. I know. I am where I am. Good morning, and thank you for your feedback. I'll be getting to that in just a minute.
I'm hesitant to say that I'll get a tattoo because I don't want to, because I'm terrified of the getting a tattoo part. But I feel like a little Pip icon would be kind of cool.
Yeah. Cool. Well, let's get back into this.
I'm gonna segue. You segue into that. I think my coffee mug is exploding. So
okay,
I'll be right back.
I am where I am is in chat now. So hello, thanks for joining us. And I think yours is the top. Yeah, yours is the top voted post on the replies too. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into that because there's some good stuff in here that we can talk about while David finishes up his coffee. So I am where I am. Thanks again for joining. Let's read this. For anyone who's just listening. There are a series of 5 questions, so let's go through them. I think what I'll do is I'll read them all, and then I'll go through and talk about them. So, chat function, let's talk about that and demo how that works. There's a feature that's being added to it. It's, I think, done, is just making sure that it's ironed out before it publishes, and DMs are coming soon, too. So, yeah, I can dig into that and actually show that. The Sticky DAO stuff. There's another question about Sticky DAO too, so I'll combine that. Don't know what this Sticky DAO is. I know what a DAO is. So Sticky DAO is a DAO. It's the name of their DAO. They're an NFT investment group. What's up with the Matter price? Ouch, 27 cents USD. Yep, that's the market decided price. You know, we all decide what the price is by interacting, buying, selling on the open market, yada yada, and it's down to 27. It started lower in the beginning, so it's technically up, but it's been as high as $1.50 almost. So yeah, seems to be little volume. One small sale of Matter and it crashes. Plus ETH fees suck. I agree. And then the 5th is Matter price seems not to matter, excuse the pun, to anyone on Den community. Yes, Den needs to grow in and outside the crypto space. Price drives excitement, investors, adoption, right? But hey, what do I know? Just an old fart retired from arbitraging crypto and exchanges around the world while drinking coffee all day. That sounds great. If you're an arbing person, actually, there is, last I checked, there is a little bit of, somebody left their liquidity in over on Uniswap V2. So there is definitely a V2, V3 mismatch on price. Usually the arbing bots get to it first, but if that's your thing, you could. Now the fees suck. You're right. So I don't know. Cool. So those are all the questions. They're sort of about the same thing. But let's dive into chat, because that's, to me, the most, well, it is the most recent, but it's also getting upgraded really soon. David, how have you liked chat? Have you played with it at all?
I haven't had much of a chance to. Honestly, I haven't had much need for it yet. I think direct messaging is going to be substantially more useful than chat.
Yes.
I think layer chat is really cool, but once layers grow a bit more and there's more people just in there from time to time, that'll be good. I haven't really checked out the layer chats for other ones that I'm part of, though. I probably should.
So also, let's talk about
while you're on me for a moment, because we're definitely going to dive into some technical stuff on this episode. A moment of sad silence for my my favorite coffee mug that's been on almost every episode of Coffee with Den. I don't want to call her out, but when Jackie was doing the dishes the other week, it fell. So I thought it just got chipped. But when I put coffee in it, I heard this noise. And it's a nice
crack.
Lovely crack all the way down there. So we've I know the guy that made it. I might see if he'll make me another one. So I've swapped over to Catfinated. So.
Oh, Catfinated. Well, you know what, man? We can bundle that coffee cup with John's set of NFTs, his collection.
Yes.
And then you buy the bundle and get the cup.
Yes, you can have my weird. It might not survive shipping, but who knows?
I mean, I watched a guy go up on stage and talk about his toilet that he was selling as
I've been talking about the toilet
almost
stop to people.
So if he's doing that, yeah, we can sell a broken cup, right?
Hell yeah, let's do it.
All right, so DM has not been implemented on DIM. I was trying to show I am for I am something, and you interrupted with your coffee cup, David.
Listen, I'm sorry, God.
All right, Yemi. Here is chat. So there's a couple of different ways you can get into chat. There's a couple of different things to say about it. Every layer, so I'm in Den right now, every layer has its own chat room. So they're all separate. And if you're subscribed to that layer, you can go in the chat room. And there's a little, in the layer itself at the top, there's a little chat icon. It's supposed to be a chat icon, but it's like a bubble box icon, a message icon. That takes you into chat, right? And so that's what the chat room looks like. It looks a little bit like, I remember like iMessages has little bubbles, like SMS messages and stuff like that.
The blue versus gray is.
So this is a chat room where anybody can talk in real time about stuff. And right now it's pretty basic. Links work on the desktop, but they don't work on the mobile app. But that'll get changed and fixed and upgraded. The biggest thing is right now, so I'm in a chat room, right? And so right now, if someone posts in the Den layer, I don't know. I have to go back out to Den and say, has anybody posted? I don't know, refresh, that kind of thing, and see if anybody's posted. But what we're going to do is when someone posts, like let's take this most recent post, for example, which is hilarious. I thought it was great. Because Den Guardians, if you want to call it Den Guardians like that, would be a role that's paid. Because voting with consensus, no matter which direction, is a paid role. But let's take this post here, right? And let's say we were hanging out in chat when Trades posted this in the Den layer. In the chat room, I wouldn't know it, right? So what we want to do, what we are doing, and is ready, is already working, just I think might be some polish is all, is we're sitting here, and let's say that post. Well, it'll come in just like a chat message, just like somebody chatted that post in here. And it'll show up in line. And ideally, I don't know if this is working yet or not, but ideally you could be able to reply to it from chat into the main post message. So as an owner, or as somebody who's monitoring the layer, you can actually just have the chat room open, and everything that's going on in there, you can just kind of have an eye on it. So that's pretty cool. I imagine
I'm going to use that a lot more now with that as an option.
With the inline post, yeah, it gives you an idea of kind of liveliness and, this person's probably here right now because they just posted, that kind of thing. And then, so that's basically it. Once you have gone into a chat room and either chatted or looked at the messages, you'll have it in your chat groups on the right-hand side, right? So if you click on on the sidebar, it looks like a double chat. Maybe we should have the same icon for both. But you click on that, and it shows you your chats that you've recently been in, right? So even though you might get into these chats by going to the layer, you still have your recent messages and stuff up in your chat groups. And this is probably this is where DMs will end up too. I think there'll be a like categories, chat groups, DMs and stuff will be right here.
So if I go into the humor layer and I just open the chat, it adds me to that chat group.
Should be. Let's do that right now and see, right? So let's go to humor and let's go into the chat room. I am subscribed.
Yeah, it auto added me to the chat room.
So I'm going to go in to the chat room and I'm going to say, have no fear, I is here. Did you see that?
It literally showed up the second you hit your button.
Good. Yeah, all right.
Was fast. Oop. Yeah, see, quick.
All right, cool.
Also, I'm going to go ahead.
What's up? We're just talking about chat right now.
Holy shit! Why are you here?
Hold that thought for a moment. I just wanted to bring John up since he popped in. Hello. Yeah, he's going to do some troubleshooting while he's pulled up there. So yeah, there's chat room, and then like I said,
I have an opinion on chat rooms here. Okay?
Sure.
I am not a huge fan of the fact that it auto added me to the chat room.
Why?
Because I just kind of would like to be able to go in there and see like, oh, there's a lot of activity in here, and then click like yeah, I'd love to be a part of this button, or no, maybe not button.
Well, don't say anything. Don't chat.
Well, okay, but if I click on the chat icon, it automatically adds me to the chat. Yeah,
well, you're in the layer, so you're in the chat room. You could like unsubscribe from the layer and leave them and not be a part of it.
Just the controversial opinion of I don't think it should auto add us.
Well, I don't know that you're in the chat except that you spoke. You said that was fast. So it's not like I had a list of names.
Right. Well, here's what I'm talking about. When I clicked on this and saw like just literally to look at this, it added me. It is now in my list of chats over there on the.
Oh right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm a huge fan of that.
Like you don't want it to be in here?
Yeah, I don't want it to automatically be in my list there.
All right. Well, we'll see.
Just as a thought.
Yeah. I think that there's going to be basically a quality of life.
I'm paranoid right now about all kinds of stuff, so just ignore that.
That's all right. There will be and I don't know. I haven't really talked. We haven't talked about what all it will include, but there will be some sort of quality of life update where there's maybe like configuration options or things that could be made a little bit more smoother or a little bit less clunky and things like that. So that's definitely something to bring up. I hadn't thought about that.
That's what I'm here for.
Have you fixed your audio yet?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, we were just going through chat there a little bit, John, and how they're going to get messages in line for new posts as well as just the chat messages and stuff.
John's dedication to the show is admirable. I just want to point out. Every time he's traveling, it's like, he's not going to be here, and then he just appears.
Yeah, I don't know how long I can stay. I'm going to stay on. I got
that's all right.
Stuff to do.
He's like, I'm hiding. He's like, I'm hiding in the bathroom.
While you're here, John, I'll talk about DMs in a second because those are what's coming after the next chat room update. But where are you at, John? What are you doing?
Oh yeah, I'm in New York City. I'm here like checking out different places to live because we're supposed to move up here in like August, and like seeing like some friends and family. I've already like my first day here was just kind of hilarious. We went to sleep at like midnight, woke up at 3:30 in the morning, but like neither of us like slept very well, and then drove an hour and a half to the airport. Got to our flight like an hour before. Normally, if we didn't have like TSA pre-check, we would have not made that flight.
I haven't done the pre-check thing yet, but I've done.
It was crazy.
I've done priority boarding where I've skipped a little bit, but not with the TSA. That was with the airline itself.
Oh, yeah. This is with like security. So you like don't go through security essentially. It's like there were like 10 people and you don't have to like take anything out of your bag, take your shoes off, like liquids are fine kind of deal.
I've been through that once.
So it's great.
I wasn't even part of pre-check. There was just like a line that was too long and they were like, fuck it, you guys come through here. And I actually we just went through and we didn't. Nice. Like nobody cared kind of thing. And even the times that I have had a TSA like confiscate stuff from me, sometimes they were like, "That's not. You can have it. You look cool. You're fine."
Oh, you can have it. It's okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like what you're talking about is basically a shakedown, where it's like, if you pay us money, we'll let you have an easier life.
Well, they run like background checks on you and stuff, so it's basically like an extra level of security. They're checking you. They're checking your background.
They're vouching for your character.
Yeah. And they actually in Jacksonville they have like a service members line as well. That I think you can just it's kind of like a skip the line because Jacksonville has such a big military base and stuff there.
Yeah.
I think you can just like skip the line there.
I have done that before too, and got upgraded to first class because I was in uniform when I was active duty. So that was cool.
Nice. Yeah, we flew we like used some points and like upgraded to first class for like it wasn't anything special. Like it was a 2-hour flight. So it wasn't anything crazy. It was fun. The person I wanted like a mimosa because it was like 7 a.m. and I'm like tired and like I need a little bit of like sugar to keep me going, but I don't want coffee because I want to be able to sleep when I get back. And they didn't have that. And the person behind me orders so I ordered coffee and the person behind me ordered like a cranberry and vodka. I'm like, shit, now I want some booze. So I got like a glass of Jack Daniels. So I'm holding like 2 shots.
So you got like whiskey and coffee at this point?
Yeah. So I have like a coffee in one hand and my wife is like asleep. So I can't move one arm. And the other hand is like my shot of whiskey. And I'm trying to like hold both at the same time. I just look like it's 7 a.m. I'm just like a mess. I hadn't slept.
7 o'clock in the morning, sleeping, you got one arm. You're trying to juggle 2 shots of whiskey and a cup of coffee with one hand.
It's my life, man. And then like as we're landing, this is like we land at like 9 or 10 a.m. And as I'm landing, I got a text message from somebody going, "Hey, can you cover my class today?" It's a friend of mine. I cover his like improv class every once in a while. I was like, "Hey, sorry, I can't. I'm actually like landing in New York right now. We're like still in the air coming down." And he goes, "Oh, that's cool. Want to go do an improv show instead?" So as I'm landing, I get asked to do an improv show in Atlantic City, so not in New York. So it's like, "Do you want to drive 3 hours to go do an improv show?" And I was like, "Yes," because he's a friend of mine. I haven't seen him in person since like pre-pandemic. It's with like some other people I met online. I haven't met in person. I was like, I don't know, let me think about it. Let me ask like the wife and, we'll make a choice. And then we land. And then as we're leaving, I see like Mike Birbiglia just sitting there, like drinking like coffee or something at 10 in the morning in the airport. I'm like, and he wrote this really cool like improv movie. I'm like, okay, like, I don't know. It's just like a really just cool, like everything happens in New York
kind of situation. Go to that improv show.
I mean, like it was like a sign, but also to me, it was just like, this is like everything happens here, like.
Got you.
And like a bunch of other stuff happened. So we end up like driving. A friend of ours takes us, who's doing the show, drives us 3 hours to Atlantic City.
So you went.
We do.
You did. Okay.
Yeah. To these kind of Stockton University. It was just like it was like the nerdiest, weirdest show I've ever done. It was put on by like the comedy club, and there were 4 people in the comedy club.
Oh God!
The people that work there.
The comedy club was created 2 months. The comedy club was created 2 months before we did the show.
Oh, okay.
2 months before we did the show.
Breaking it in.
But like it was fun. Like a bunch of people showed up. So like there was only 4 people in the club, but they got a bunch of other people in the college to show up. I don't know. And then we drove 3 hours back. And so the first day in New York, we didn't even spend in New York.
No time was spent in New York.
Yeah.
So it's a comedy club is like,
I saw
it's like an actual club where you're a member, and then it's also open to the public to come in, or what?
No, it was like a university club.
Oh, okay.
A school club.
Okay.
So we did improv to like 30, like.
Oh, I'm not there this morning.
Yeah, I got the show. I'm gonna put it up online as well.
Cool. I saw that you've been putting some more stuff up online. Yeah.
You got heckled?
Yeah, some girl who was sitting in the front row, and my wife was sitting next to her, and she just like kept like talking and going through her bag, and then kept like yelling things at us the entire time, just like it, like commentary on what was happening, like scenes, like whatever was going on. It was so just weird, and she looked like she was like freshly 18 or something. Found herself very amusing, and my wife like overheard her talking about like, yeah, like I'm funnier than them, like they didn't let me do my like stand-up, so I think she was like hurt because they didn't let her do like her 5 minutes of stand-up
want to do like an opening show or something.
Yeah. And then at the end, like we were like, it was a very funny show. We did very well. Like it was really great. Everybody loved it. Besides the one girl, which if she would have liked it, like I didn't like her taste in jokes anyway. So I'm glad she didn't like it.
I'm glad she didn't like it.
And at the end, like one of the guys is like, he's an actor. Like he's a comedian. He's an actor. Like this is what he does for a living in New York. Like, or at least he's trying to. I'm an actor. I book acting gigs. I'm represented. I have an agent.
He's doing the thing. Yeah.
I'm also a waiter in a very expensive restaurant, like deal. So he's like trying to make it, like doing self tapes for HBO and stuff like that.
So one of them is his side hustle. He just hasn't decided which one yet.
Yeah, he's trying to make one of them not his side hustle. And he and at the end of the show, she's like, "Hey, by the way, your jokes suck." Like just like straight up, like end of the show, people left, like said that. It's like this is what he loves to do. Like, what a horrible person. Yeah.
Hey, I'm sorry you had fun up there, but I want to make you feel bad about it. I'm sorry that happened to you, but that's always going to happen from time to time, man. That happened to us one time whenever I was managing Loco Chino. We went to Orlando for a show that we were not begged. That's a bad term. The person who was putting it on wanted us to go down there and play with them, and was super like nice about it and was like, "Oh man, I'd be honored to play with Loco Chino. I'd love to see them. I saw them out at Swanee Halloween, the music festival or something, and yada yada." So I was like, "Great, yeah, we don't." And I was like, "We don't really have like a big following down there in Orlando. We're more of a Gainesville and like North Florida, like Live Oak is where the music festival was and stuff like that. Jacksonville maybe." So I was up front with us, like, we don't have much of a following, but I think he thought that we were going to pull in a bunch of people. And so we went down there and we were tired, and the drummer was like extra tired, like didn't even want to do it kind of thing, but we all like, nope, let's do it. It'll be great. So we got there and we haven't even written a set list or anything. So we get there, the show starts, the band's playing, and it's a Gainesville band too that went down to Orlando to play with some friends. So we go, and so we're like writing a set list out front while the opening band is opening. And what we didn't realize was that they all looked at us like we were ignoring them and being like a bad, like not supporting, not watching the band, not listening to the band. They got real uptight about it. Kind of like what you were talking about with your heckler. They were upset because I think that it was seen as not supporting them, because we were outside still listening, but we were outside so we could have a conversation about how our set should look. All right, what do we got? How much time? Okay, we should do this, this, and this, like making a set list. Yeah. And then we popped in and, saw them a few times. But when they finished and we started setting up, they said some shitty things, and they like literally went around to everybody who was there and corralled them, and they all left together. so we were playing for no one, so it was awkward for us, right? Which was like, dude, this is you're sabotaging your show because like anyway.
Yeah.
So like that happens anytime you're trying to perform and do a thing, especially if you're like in an environment you haven't been there before, you don't know the people, you don't know the culture, you don't know what like oh, you expected us to. I see. Well, I didn't know that. Sorry. And I don't know. At the end of the day, it was just one of those things where I was like, well, that was a bad experience, but I mean, it wasn't really our problem either. So
yeah,
this is the most public thing I do, so that crap can't happen to me.
yeah.
That's
Actually, they can pop into the chat and heckle you right here if they wanted to.
That's fine. They can do that. That'd be fun.
Let's see. Somebody
Thanks for
heckle
going,
David. Somebody type
heckle
something
me
in the comments that heckles him. I don't want him to feel left out,
Heckle me. I need it.
So I ended up also seeing the Ben Schwartz and Friends. So I don't know if you know who he is, but he's like John Ralphio from Parks and Rec.
Oh, good stuff.
So
yeah,
one
I saw him
episode.
do an improv. I saw him do an improv show with like, I don't know if you've seen like The Good Place, but like Pillboy, he's on it too. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
The guy in Loki, like the nervous dude in Loki, that like runs that front
guy?
desk.
Yeah, I did watch Loki.
His name's Eugene, but I saw him do like an improv show at the Beacon, which was super cool. But yeah, it was fun. It's been a great time so far.
You think Google's good enough to know what I mean when I say the nervous guy at the desk in Loki?
His name's Eugene.
Oh.
his real name.
We have a name for him.
Eugene.
Do we have
I've
a
seen the
last
show.
name?
I just don't know what.
I forgot.
Oh, this fellow?
But-
No, that's what's his face.
Descriptive.
That's not him. That's not him. Not this guy. Oh well. I don't know.
Oh, it's the guy who works the front desk. It's not the. I like how I said Loki.
Look at this sentence.
Just type in Eugene improv and it comes up. I don't know. I'm bad at remembering actor names. I have to get much better at it.
I need a Jamie over here. Improv and Eugene. That's in Eugene
Cordero.
You didn't say Cordero.
I know. I just looked it up.
Oh.
Welcome to Coffee with Dan. This is normal.
This person. UCB comedy. Go, Eugene. This person. Okay. Cool. I just wanted to give a point of reference because
reference point.
I've never seen him. I've never seen ASCAP. I have seen Drunk History though, and the Kroll Show. Yeah.
I forgot about that.
That's like his old thing. If you like get rid of the improv thing and put in like IMDb or something, it'll show like you're gonna have a lot.
And this was the other show you went to? Was his show?
It was him and Ben Schwartz. And then I went to like another show on Sunday. That was pretty cool, but it's all right.
How much do apartments cost in New York? How ungodly expensive is it?
How much do you want to spend? Yeah, like we're looking at stuff now. It's pretty crazy.
I'm sure it's wild.
They are quite expensive, but like you also can do things here. Like you know what I mean? Like
Access to industry.
An apartment in Gainesville is $1,000 or $1,500 now or whatever it is. But you can go to a Florida football game for like 10 times a year,
and that's about it.
Like a couple bars, and maybe there's a cool show at Heartwood, or you can spend more money and not have to fly to New York
to do all the cool shit that's in New York.
Yeah,
that's a good point. I know that's like if that's what you're doing a lot, especially if it's industry that you're interested in and stuff. I know I kept flying to Gainesville just because I was burning all my vacation time to go home, see the fam, that kind of thing. And eventually I was like, I should probably just move there. Same kind of logic.
Yeah. So
before you popped on, I was talking about chat can I tell you how DMs are going to work? Because it's kind of cool.
Yeah,
So,
I'd love to play some D&D.
Yeah, some DMs.
Some DMDMs.
Yeah.
Dungeon Masters and D&D.
DMDMs, yeah. So
this is the high quality jokes you guys were missing from the first
dungeons and direct messages, yeah. So it'll work just like DMs work, right? Where you can send somebody a message and it's just directly to them. But you know how on, I guess every platform though, you can't, well, on some platforms you can't just message someone unless you're following them, or less, like sometimes it'll be a message request that pops up. Like on Twitter, I think only if you're following a person and they're following you back can you then have direct messages between each other. And that's a way to, weed out spam and stuff like that, because you don't want your inbox just blown up with people trying to sell you Viagra or whatever, like an inbox for your email. And so at the same time, there's like this undesired gatekeeping system between regular people and folks who have either influence or a certain knowledge base or like an opinion they give. Like they're inundated with people trying to contact them, so they have a PR team or a layer between them, or an assistant or a secretary or something. You call them and you try to get an appointment.
Right.
So somewhere in between those two things, there's some wiggle room to develop a better system, I think. And so what we're doing is, if you are following someone, and this is I think this is final. There may be some changes. So disclaimer, there may be some changes before it's working and out. But if you're following somebody, then they can DM you, period, right? That's kind of like you saying, I want to hear from this person if they want to, I'm going to follow them to see, number one, what they post on Den, even if they post it in a layer that I'm not subscribed to. So you can just see what they're doing. But also in following them, you're signaling they can DM me, right? So if you're not following someone, they can't DM you, except they can send you a message request. And that message request, you have to attach some amount of matter or lore to it. So you're basically bribing the person to talk to you, right? So it's a way of, if somebody wants to contact somebody, but that person isn't following you, right? So you can say, hey, here's 10 matter or 100 matter. Like I have a message I want to get through to you, a question that I know that you sort of know the answer to already. Can you, answer this question about, I don't know, Monero mining, whatever it is.
Here's 10 matter to make it worth your time.
Yes, exactly. So that gives a barrier to spam, to where if you're going to spam, you're going to have to spend.
I kind of like that.
And then whenever you read the message, you have the option of either taking the fee or taking the tip, or refunding it, saying, oh, you know what, this conversation was valuable. I'm not annoyed. I got a lot out of it. Here's your tip back. So that's just up to the person who receives the message. And so that's kind of an interesting new twist on DMs, I think, where it makes a marketplace for messaging otherwise maybe unavailable people, right? People you couldn't get through to.
Yeah, so like if you wanted to get to somebody as just deliciously famous as I am at this point, as people believe, you could send me like 200,000 matter, and maybe I'll say hi to you.
Yeah, if that's high enough.
Jesus Christ.
Or you can show up to his job. Or you can show up to his job in Gainesville. He's talked about where he works so many times on this show. Yeah, show up his job.
Come buy a computer from me. It'll be great.
Or go to his apartment, apartment number 127.
Oh yeah, I live in Cabana Beach.
Lennox Apartments in Gainesville, Florida.
Ooh.
Oh, Cabana Beach now. Okay, Cabana Beach, apartment 127. Just show up and say hi.
Yeah, but it would be much easier to, instead of spending all that gas money. You could do that, right? So instead of spending all that gas money and then money on a flight maybe, or lodging, food along the way, just to contact somebody who you can't DM on, normally, you can just put a little fee on there and say, hey, here's a carrot, I want to talk to you. Yeah, it's meaningful. I think it's important enough to talk about. So here you go. So that's how the DM system is going to work. I think
that's cool. I enjoy that. That's a good idea.
I like doing things that aren't just a copy of what somebody else has done. You know, like with layer chat, having the post in line with it is really useful, kind of deal. So
there's some kind of commotion happening behind me, and I'm not sure what it is.
It's a ghost. Don't look. Don't look.
It's the fake beach at Cabana Beach.
Let's see. Oh, you know what? So the other issue, the other question that IM had was about the Matter price. It's apparently down to 27 cents. So when that launched,
is it really?
Yeah, I think so. Because I saw it at 30-something cents last week, so that makes sense. It goes up and down.
Isn't everything down right now?
Well, yeah, that's one reason. It goes up and down for a few reasons. Right now, it is only tied. If it's tied to anything, right, it's tied to the value of Ethereum, and that's only because it is paired with Ethereum on the exchange, right? So it's like this many Ethereum equals this many Matter, right. And so as Ethereum goes up and down, the relative value in US dollars goes up and down. But also people selling Matter that they earn on Den, well, you have to exchange it and change the ratio on the exchange of how many are available. So that affects it. But yeah, this is interesting too, because so IM says, what's up with the price? 27 cents. Seems to be little volume, one sale, and it crashes. And then the Matter price seems not to matter to anyone in the Den community. So that's all. I would agree with all of that. With Den, I'm not as concerned with the price of Matter because you're getting, on one hand, you're getting some kind of money that you would not be getting anywhere else for doing the same work, right? So in the beginning, right now, it's more important that people are getting some sort of payout than this payout equals this much dollars, right? Now, with more and more people coming in, especially with DAOs and especially local community-based stuff, you're going to have more and more people that want to advertise to that community. And so you'll have people that are acquiring Matter to spend it on boosts and things like that. But you'll also have things like the upcoming marketplace for selling your lot, for swapping your lot internally, right? So like instead of having to do it on an OpenSea, you can swap it for Matter directly on Den. So I think the beginning of Den was all about putting all the cogs and gears into place, and it works. People are making money. People are able to exchange it, although the fee is really high because of Ethereum. That works. Now, what's being added now is all of these different applications, additional applications for the Matter token, like using it, for example, to send a message to someone who doesn't want to talk to you or doesn't follow you, right? Or using it to buy lot directly on the platform that you don't have ownership in, or you want more ownership in that layer and things like that. So I think the more utility that we add to Matter and Lore, the more, I can't guarantee anything, but the more you'll see that fluctuate in both directions, right? As people use it and then as people sell it. And I think
that's the goal, at least.
Yeah. That's it's a big game theory free market system. So you have to add more. If you're seeing behavior that is causing the value to go down over time, well, you need to incentivize different behavior or add more use cases to the token than just selling it. That's always my thing whenever people ask about what token should I go buy or whatever. I'm always like, find something that's got more to do than just sell it, because if people can only sell it, then it's not really anything that you're buying there, is there? Kind of thing. IM says no one can cash out Matter to the ETH fees, so you really aren't earning anything. Well, that's true until you earn more Matter. I think ETH fees they're huge right now. They're like $130, right? But if you
are they really that high?
Yeah, but if you only cash out, let's say you only cash out once a month, and you're like a full or part-time creator, and you are able to earn at least more than that, maybe once, maybe right now in the beginning times only once a quarter, whatever it makes economic sense to you, that kind of thing. And yeah, all due to the ETH fees. If you look at, we'll go over there real quick actually and look and see what they are right now, because I haven't looked in a while. Ethereum, we can blame Ethereum. We really can. But it's it's a whole different network. We don't have to use Ethereum. We could use other networks, but this is where we are right now. And with Ethereum, they're in the middle of going to proof of stake, which I was hoping would bring fees down, but I don't think that they want fees to come down, and I don't think that's going to happen. So, yeah, you can look it up and see. Looks like, yeah, there were some trades a little bit ago. All these 1,000 ones are the so 1,000 a day is what's minted, and then there's been some trading. Yeah, Jacob Wayne, you showed up in here. This is the thing about blockchains, right? You can look at the actual transaction history, and so Jacob Wayne has jacobwayne.eth registered, so you can see that Jacob Wayne purchased what looks like transferred 1,600 Matter out of Den to his personal wallet, and then sold it on Uniswap v2. I wonder if that was a better idea. I would have, and then whoever this is, right? Somebody here, same thing. You can see this address here is Den itself, and they transferred out 1,600 and then sold it on Uniswap v2. So here's what I would say is this. I'm glad we're looking into this. I should probably do a demo video. Uniswap v2, somebody else. So it looks like people are selling on Uniswap v2, which is going to be a bad idea. Here's somebody who sold on, here's somebody arbitrage between v2 and v3. So if you're an arbing person, you said you were, here's somebody going between, this might be Uniswap itself arbing between. So here's why that's a bad idea. On Uniswap v2, that's not the official one that we support. That's leftover liquidity from the past. So there's much, much less liquidity on Uniswap v2 than on Uniswap v3. And the way that you find the official place to the v3 is you literally can go to your wallet, click on that button, and then go down until you find the token at the bottom, Matter, MTR, and click buy, and that should take you to Uniswap v3. It'll say, hey, this Matter, is this what you wanted? You say yes, and there you are. This is different than I don't even know how to get to it, the old version, the v2 version or whatever. And there's more liquidity and it's more concentrated on v3. And I've sold $1,000 worth of Matter to see, how v3 works versus v2, and it doesn't not move the price much. But if you're selling it on v3 or on v2 rather, it's going to drop the price more because of the liquidity situation over there. It's not the right one to sell it on. And if that drops a bunch, then you're going to see people theoretically, it should arb back, right? You should see people buying it back to sell it over on v3, and both of them should come back together. That's a lot of like trading and game theory that I'm not an expert in, but I do see that happening here when I look at it. So I would say sell it on v3, ignore v2, and if you have your liquidity in v2 still, get it out of there. You're not getting any rewards. If you move it over to v3, then you get governance weight too. For example, like in the latest one that I think passed already, you can see people that have liquidity here on the left, owner and creator. These are only v3 liquidity. It's not counting v2. So you're not getting any votes for that if you have liquidity in v2. So there's some technical stuff. And the price is the price. There's only 1,000 minted per day. So there's only 826,000. And I imagine that the tokenomics will become more and more important as more and more people use the platform. These 70 holders are only on Ethereum. It does not count what's on DragonNet or in Den. And this is, I think we started at 10 cents or 15 cents or something, went up to like 130 something, and then came back down around the 60, 40 cents, and now we're at 25. So we'll see where it goes. Yeah, the price, I don't know. The price is what the price is. That's all I can say about that. But yeah, number go up is good. Number go down happens.
Why is that one tagged as abusive?
Oh, somebody tagged it as abusive, but it's been voted down. You can see it's red.
Right.
I voted it down, obviously.
Gee, but I wonder who that could have been.
But a lot of other people have also voted it down, because if it's red, that means that the community disagrees with that tag. And maybe, we could do is we could make it to where once it's a certain shade of red, once it is downvoted enough, maybe that can just go away.
Red immediately made me think that was negative.
Yeah, it does look at like especially because it says abusive.
Damn, human nature is kind of weird.
Yeah, it has the word abusive in it.
It says abusive and it's red, like it's made comfortable.
Yeah. Oh, you know what else? With DMs, I don't know if this is. Oh wait, this is for later. Never mind. This is going to be round 2. Later on with DMs, we'll have the ability to save them, the conversation, if we want to save that information.
Oh, that's cool.
And if you don't do that, they just go away. They don't clutter up your inbox. They just disappear if you don't specifically mark it.
Oh, it pulls a Snapchat. Gotcha.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
So I gotta get going soon. We got big city plans.
Yeah, man.
But I figured before I go, I'd share a little bit of my soul with the community.
Oh,
if you wanted to see it, I shared it there in the thing. If you want to look at it, this is my comic.
The Booty Examiner.
My God.
Yeah. This is my comic. Is
this the comic you were talking about last week?
This is
Dr. Booty. He hangs out behind the dumpster and examines asses.
Yeah. You can call 1-800-C-POOP or C-BUTT.
C-BUTT.
Both of
those they're both the same.
Yeah, if you want to talk to Dr. Booty.
This is with the shitcoin collection?
Yeah. This is part of my shitcoin
No
NFTs
refunds.
that are going to be dropping. It's one of my
Or
NFTs that's going to
exchanges.
drop. Yeah. Let's see here. So this is the next
That
slide.
is something. That is something.
Yeah.
You can make the window taller and it'll or make it less wide and it'll show the full thing.
Like
what?
Well, I have it zoomed in also.
Oh, I see.
Coffee with Den featuring John trying to figure out
The
how
3 panels. There we go. Oh no. Okay. Yeah, that's it. That's
nothing ever works the way I want it to.
That is an awkward comic.
I love it.
That is an awkward comic. It makes me feel bad.
I hate it, but I love it. Is Dr. Booty a real guy? Is he on a stand? It's because
there's doctors that do that all day. Do you know that? Literally all day long.
Just looking at asses.
When I went to boot camp, we had to go through MEPS, and part of that is to get a full physical evaluation. And one of the last things you do is there's a doctor, there's one dude who's the asshole guy, I guess, and you go in there and you drop your drawers and you bend over and you spread your cheeks and he looks at your butthole and he gives you a yes or no, depending on I don't know what you got going on there, but he has to look at your butt. So
did you pass? I'm sure you passed, right?
Passed. I had the blue folder. I even lied to them about my broken arm and said I have never had any injuries.
My God.
So, yeah, and they were like, "Okay, there you go." My recruiter told me to do that. By the way, I didn't want to lie about it, but
I
my
wonder
recruiter
if
told me
it's
that I shouldn't mention it.
I wonder if the same guy looks at buttholes every day, or if it's just that's the shit stick he got given that day.
Oh yeah, you pulled the short stick, so you gotta go look at that.
You're the butthole guy, son of a bitch. I hate that job.
When did you make this? On the flight over or what?
No, I made this before that one guy was on the show. This is what I was trying to
really?
find.
Oh, this is what you couldn't find. Okay.
Yeah.
This is the comic we were trying to show the guy.
This is the gem that you couldn't dig up. I got it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but I now have it saved, so I can show whenever anybody wants to see it. I can just pop it on a screen.
Yeah. Well, this is the beginning of a saga.
Can you put it on a shirt?
Yeah.
Now you need another.
Just poorly in the middle of a shirt.
All right. Yeah.
No, I'm thinking more along the lines of now you need the next pane is 20 years prior or something when the doctor was in med school or something. How did you get here?
What part of his life led to these decisions?
Yeah. How do you get here? Maybe the person actually getting inspected should be that. How did you get here?
Why is he naked?
Got to see that butt. Well, all right, that's interesting.
Segued into some wild shit this morning. All right. Coffee break? It's
Go for it.
on the dot.
Go for it.
I'm glad I was able to make it. I got to step off, but it was fun. I got to share a little bit of what's inside me with the world right there. With that stupid ass comic.
Bearing yourself. Stupid ass comic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it was good to see you this morning, John.
Yeah. I'll see y'all next week.
All right, go have fun in New York, and we'll see you next week, dude. And for the rest of you guys, I'll cue off of David. I will get some more coffee. You should do that too. And I will. Let's see. Let's play one for the Dutch, and I'll be right back.
Op sociale mediaplatforms vandaag de dag gaat kwaliteitsinhoud vaak onopgemerkt voorbij. Op den krijgen gebruikers betaald voor het maken, evalueren en beheren van kwaliteitsinhoud. Contentmakers worden beloond op basis van de betrokkenheid en het bereik van hun bericht of opmerking. Contentbeoordelaars worden beloond op basis van de snelheid en resultaten van hun voorspellingen over welke content trending zal zijn of viraal zal gaan. Eigenaren van communities worden beloond op basis van betrokkenheid binnen een community. Kwaliteitsinhoud loont op den.
All right. I am back for round 2 of the coffee show. So let's look at, I'll wait for David to get back. I'm going to hit some of the feedback while I'm here. I'm glad John could pop in for a minute. I wasn't sure he was going to be on today. So I think I covered most of this. Oh, yeah. And then there was, let's see. That's it. Okay. I think I covered everything I could cover there with I am for I am. Thanks for the feedback there. Which one? That's response. Here we go, from Jacob Wayne. I was just talking about you, Jacob. Been curious about the sticky DAO thing. I bought one in the wee hours last night, excited about the possibilities. Is the idea, here's the question, is the idea to own one of the NFTs for DAO governance and potential profits from the DAO purchasing NFTs to buy and sell through its lifespan? Or is that anything that can happen since it's so new? Is the idea for, well, the idea is definitely to own one for DAO governance. What Sticky DAO does is they use those NFTs, these stickies. So the more of these you own, the more governance weight you get, right, in the interface. And that's just something that we can do as a custom integration. Since each layer is its own thing and its own community, the governance is based on, hey, welcome back. The governance is based on whatever token you want it to be. By default, it is based on lot for that governance. But if you're a business, if you're a DAO, if you have your own community outside of Den that you want to just use the tools here for, maybe you just need your own tools in a chat room that's, you know, got some sort of automated moderation and self-governance for the, you know, voting and stuff built in. You can do that, and you can just say, hey, here's our token. Instead of lot, use this, right? And the other half was potential profits from the DAO purchasing NFTs through its lifespan. Yes. Now, you'd have to talk to Sticky DAO about that specifically, but I do believe, yes, that the treasury, initial treasury, comes from the sale of these NFTs, and that treasury goes into a pot that is then used by an advisory board or whatever the name is. That is an advisory board that is, I would imagine, elected or informed at the very least by the governance votes, right, about what. Maybe the advisory board puts up a proposal, for example, saying, here's a new NFT collection that we think is going to be valuable, and we want to use some of the treasury funds to buy a collection of that to put in our vault as a community, and then maybe one day in the future we sell that, and a portion of the proceeds goes to holders, or maybe it goes back into the treasury to buy more stuff. I don't know. That's details on the DAO's end, but yeah, you're exactly right. That's how that works. And the next question is about VPNs. If they want to start streaming to the metaverse, should I first get a VPN service? I would say that the first thing you should do is start transacting on an account that is not tied to your jacobwayne.eth account, like I just talked about, because the biggest thing about operating in a metaverse is that, especially like something on Polygon, like what's it called? Decentraland, where all the transactions are going to look like this, like Ethereum transactions, is people are going to see your economic activity, right? So whenever you do things like cash out from Den and sell it on V2, you get people like me saying, why'd you do it on V2, man? You got to do it on V3 where there's better liquidity and you won't affect the price so much. So yeah, I would say anonymity is something that is more important to some people than others. It is something that is not all or none. It is a gradient that on one end you have security and on the other end you have convenience, and then somewhere in the middle is you have your comfortable operating area. So you're always going to trade off convenience for security. And it's just, the different things. If you're more worried about your IP address being exposed, I personally think that's less of a problem than having your public address that's tied to your name. So I would just spin up a new stuff, send some funds to it, maybe from a centralized exchange. Might be surprising coming from me, but maybe a centralized exchange so you can fund it with Ethereum that doesn't come from one of your old addresses, so you don't have that tied to it. But yeah, if you want to, I would say just create a new identity and use your wallets with different projects so that you can keep them safely separated. Because the last thing you want is somebody like stalking you and your transactions and that kind of thing. IP address for metaverse stuff, not really. VPN, I mean, yeah, sure, get a VPN. VPN is more like your local ISP and the surveillance that goes on by advertisers that pay the ISP, and surveillance that goes on by the CIA, the US government, stuff like that, where they pay, or they at least have an agreement with companies to be able to say, okay, what all you can really see from an IP address, if you don't have that access, is what maybe what neighborhood you're in, right? But your ISP locally can say, oh, this IP address belongs to this accountant, to Jacob Wayne. It's his personal, like, residential IP address. And they're not saying that it's you. They're just saying that somebody from your house used that IP address, right? So I don't know. If you're stealing a bunch of movies through some torrent site, yeah, go through a VPN, right? Or don't steal. If you're just operating on a network, your address from your wallets are going to be much more trackable than your IP address. I hope that thoroughly answers that. And you're very welcome. Bring your newbie questions every day. That's what we're here for. I love it. Dragon Chain Hodler, let's go right into that one. Den seems to be the best decentralized social media platform with the lowest market cap ratio, which means unlimited upside. Do you think Den.Social is too promising that people will not tell their friends or give up their secret sauce? That's an interesting question because I've heard it discussed before, and it surprised me when I heard it the first time. And I think it's something I have to keep in mind, which is basically game theory, right? Put yourself in the shoes of somebody who does think that in, let's say 5 years, right? Let's give it a good 5 years. If they think that in 5 years, Den is going to be like, man, people are going to be on there. It's going to be on CoinGecko listed, maybe not on exchange, but at least listed on CoinGecko to where people know it exists. Or it's going to be maybe listed somewhere on a DEX. You could do that today if you wanted to add it yourself. It is on a DEX. It's on Uniswap, right? Maybe you think one day the liquidity is going to be there to make it, not as impactful to actually operate on it. Or you think maybe Ethereum is actually going to do something about their fees one day. We're talking about speculation, right? And so when you talk about speculators, it's hard to get in the mind of a speculator because you don't know what their priorities are. But there is the type of person that you are mentioning, which is like, oh man, this is a gym. I understand the potential. I see how the team's approaching it, and I theoretically agree with that approach, which is me specifically speaking for myself. is getting normal average people to use it before all of the like crypto savvy people know about it. I've seen other platforms in the past do that with like, oh, let's do it with crypto people and then we'll branch out. But that's always led to just being kind of pigeonholed into, oh, this is
gate kept by crypto people.
Or gate kept by crypto people, right? So
some of us are dicks. I mean, in the best possible way. Like, it's just like any other internet-based community. Some of us really kind of suck and don't want other people to be involved for some reason.
So if you're that kind of person, you might be extremely patient. And the long game to you is like, that's where it's at. There's plenty of other shit you're doing in the meantime. Maybe you're just like, you know what? If I post on Den, I don't tell anybody about it. And if I just post on Den, I'll get more matter today per post than I'll theoretically get anytime I ever try to post 5 years from now, right? Assuming there's any curve of adoption at all. Even if it's one person a week, you know, it doesn't matter. If there's any adoption at all, anything, the matter scarcity gets more and more scarce. And so if you just, a friend of mine is doing this, right? She doesn't know about cryptocurrency. She wants to invest in cryptocurrency, but doesn't know how to do it. I explained to her what we're doing with Den, and she said, well, you know what? I'll use that because I don't have to buy anything. I'll just start using that, and whatever matter I get, I'll just let it stack. And then once it becomes whatever it's going to be one day, I'll have that matter, and it'll be whatever it's worth then. So yeah, there is less, because it's not crypto people though, right? Because it's not primarily crypto people, there isn't this overbearing focus on, oh, the number went down, right? It's more like, oh shit, we got chat. Look at that. You're like, oh man, we got
cool. There's places I can do things.
That environment is way better to build in, and it's more accessible and powerful to people. What I want is once Den.Social is known to the wider cryptocurrency, I don't know what the scene. What do you call it? Space. Yeah, I want it to be chock full of regular ass people, normal humans that live on Earth, wherever you live, from whatever background, whatever category you're in, shape, size, you know, cultural background, all of that. I want that to be in place to where there's humans here, and then the greater cryptocurrency space looks at Den and is like, oh, there's a thing over here. I never heard about that. It launched 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Wow, it's, you know, then you get the people that know how to speculate on cryptocurrency. Whereas right now, it's not even, like I said, the one place I go, and this is just me, but the starting point I go every time is CoinGecko.com, right? CoinMarketCap is an option. I found CoinGecko has better information sooner than CoinMarketCap.
And the gecko's cute.
And the gecko is cute. I'm trying to click on my screen. But if you try to look up MTR on CoinGecko, it's just not there, right? There's Meter Stable, there's Moonsta Revenge, right? And if Moonsta Revenge can get on there, we can get on there too.
Yeah, seriously.
It's going to take more liquidity, but we just now opened up the incentives for liquidity like a month or two ago. So that'll get there. But I want it to be easy as, you know, like what can you look up right now? Ethereum, obviously, you should be able to look it up just the same. And this is where people are, you know, speculating on stuff. Baby Tether, right? So if Baby Tether can get on there, we can probably get Ether Lambos. Yeah, we can probably get on there if Ether Lambos can get on there.
God.
But yeah, so it'll be on, at some point it'll be on CoinGecko. You know, somebody else can add that before I get to it. Maybe the team does. Maybe there's, I don't know. I haven't even asked the gecko yet.
The gecko.
But what's a coin I like a lot? I always talk about Oxen, right? So if I just found out about it, you know, I would go here, and this is where the reason I like them is immediately at the top. You get all the socials. Tons of information, right? The Oxen Explorer to look at the blockchain, the Medium article, the white paper, their main website, and if anybody's curious, if I've got all of this information, the very, very, very first thing I'm going to click on is not even the white paper, but bitcointalk.org. And I don't see a lot of people doing that. But if you go to the Bitcoin Talk thread, you'll see the initial vision of the project when they launched. It used to be called Loki, right? So Oxen
that's cool.
was originally called Loki when it launched, and then they forked Monero and eventually rebranded into Oxen. So you can see the whole, like, here's their introduction of themselves to the community on Bitcoin Talk. And usually if they don't have a Bitcoin Talk thread, I'll just go to the white paper or something. So anyway, that's not the question, but it is a little bit about what the feedback was about.
I want to say something good about Oxen really quick because we use Session constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that? Hold up. I added myself to the Session updates group, which if you haven't, you should. Voice and video calls are now available without it being beta. So we should really try that sometime soon.
Did. I watched their update video. Well? I didn't try it, but I did see that they have I started posting yesterday on cryptocurrency, but I think I'm going to go into mining instead with it because I've been running a service node and it's a node operation thing. But yeah, Oxen has an update. They talk about that. They talk about the update with Session. Now you have voice calls. If you're not familiar with Session, it is like Signal, but without phone numbers. And it's without centralized server infrastructure.
And it works really well. So
it works really well.
We use it constantly for the stuff we do in Gainesville. We just, I honestly think we use it to communicate more than just texting.
Yeah, it's end-to-end encrypted. You can, if you meet someone in real life, you just scan they put up their thing and you scan it and now you know each other, right?
Yeah, that's how I got Tristan on there. I just scanned a little code.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One person holds their phone up, you hold your phone up, you scan their code, now you're friends.
They kiss, now you're friends.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I would love for the Den app to work that way.
That'd be really cool.
There's a lot of meet space tools that don't exist, like the ability to find someone whenever you see them in real life. Oh, where's your Den? What's your Den account? Well, I can't search for them. I can't do any of that. Like when DMs are open, that'll be easier. But
I just tell people go to this post that I did a thing on usually.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I don't know. I think some people won't want it to blow up quite yet just because they want to make more matter now because they think it'll be worth more later. And I've got a friend or two that are doing that. They're not selling it. They're just stacking it.
I also kind of want it to be this before the masses, if we want to say that, know about it as much as other people around here do. I want it to be kind of perfect, like ready to deliver people this, like, here's something that works exactly the way you expect it to work.
That's a
like
good
another social media site.
Because it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be somebody giving up their secret sauce. Because the more people use it, the less matter you get each day. Because now there's more competition for the same 1,000 matter every day. But like you said, first impressions are important too. So like, when I first 2 years ago, when I first started telling people about Den.Social, there was no app, and most of the people I were talking to, like, they didn't use a computer, they used a phone, and so the hurdle was like, you got to have an app or I'm not going to use it. And now we have an app, and the app's great, but it doesn't do some of the stuff that you can do on a website, which is fine. The app's useful for what it is supposed to be useful for, and the people that wouldn't use it without an app are now using it, which is fantastic.
It's so much easier to talk to people about it too when there is an app that I can just pop up on my busted phone here and be like, hey, check this out real quick.
That's what you made a good point though, David, about like just not wanting to have if somebody looks at it and doesn't like it, there's a 90% chance, 80% chance that they're never going to look at it again.
Yeah, 100%.
They're going to remove the app. They're like, yeah, I tried that out. It kind of sucked. That kind of thing.
I'm so guilty of that. It's not even funny. The whole reason I even reinstalled Den was because you started talking to me about it, and I had completely forgotten it existed because when I installed the app the first time, it was just kind of clunky, and I didn't like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so if you and I do that, then you have to assume a lot of other people do that too. So I would like to have more of a first impression that includes, like, at least the ability when DMs hit, right? I'm going to definitely be going and talking to everybody who's dismissed it already in the past and say, hey, it's been a year. We've got a lot better app. We got chat and DMs now. Why don't you come back and check it out?
Why don't you come see what we got going on now? We got lots of places to hang out. There's more layers. I don't know why I'm dropping into a fake New York accent.
I am for I am says DIN works amazingly well. It can roll out to the masses, in my opinion. Only issue is if it can't scale. Well, that's not an issue. It scales, which is great. The network it's on has already demonstrated scaling to, I want to say, I think it was over 250,000 transactions within a 24-hour period, which is pretty cool. So I think that,
I'm not vanishing. I'll be right back.
Okay, that's fine. And that's actually been demonstrated, but then that's been demonstrated with limits too. There were points there where bottlenecks that were discovered during that demo have been removed or improved. And even right now, some of the memory optimizations and things that the migration or implementation over on Google Cloud started sort of illustrating or informing, that's being improved. So like, yeah, I mean, it already can scale to billions of transactions per day. So that should be fine.
If anybody hears a leaf blower, I apologize. There's a guy standing outside my apartment right now with like one of those backpack leaf blowers, just dead ass blowing the concrete, and there's nothing there, and he's just standing in the same place.
That's his job.
Oh my Lord.
Or at least that's how he sees his job, is to have the leaf blower and point it at the ground.
Don't people know that there's an extremely important small social media site trying to grow with, podcasts and morning shows going on right next door? Good Lord. The nerve.
I want to bring this back up. I am with this about it, rolling out into the masses. I haven't been there as much as I am now. I thought I was there when the app came out. I thought that was going to be like, now people are going to be ready for it. But it took some iteration of the app to the point where I'm like, okay, now I feel like it's DMs, because that's just the most common topic, I guess, that comes around. It's like, it's almost like a measure of, you can use it as a measure of like, oh, it's so early, we don't even have DMs yet, it's so early.
That's a good point.
That kind of thing. But I've got some very non-computer people using this, and so if it's easy enough for them, then maybe you're right.
I haven't thought about it like that, but like my buddy John makes a post a couple of times a week and gets upvotes on it, and he enjoys it. Mm-hmm. And he is not like, he works with us at the computer shop, but in the nicest way, he's a warm body. Like he answers phones and talks to customers, and he's not really super computer savvy. And yeah, maybe it is kind of ready. Holy crap.
Could be. It could be. Definitely more than like before, whenever what I was talking about before, when there wasn't even an app or anything, or when there was even the governance issues, like all the advanced stuff you don't need unless you're a creator and you're trying to organize a community or a business, right? But those are there too now. So yeah, I guess, and I'm even, like the chat group for Gainesville layer is kind of like, okay, now I have a thing for a help desk if I want to drop into chat. So yeah, I know other people have argued the same thing, like, hey, get your foot off the fucking brake. It's time to go.
It's go time.
I can't argue with that. I really can't. Josh O had a question about the governance issue. So right now, and this is the last thing that I'll read before we actually go and just look at what's on DIN for the rest of the show.
And then just segue into random things, I'm sure.
Yeah. There's an issue now where on the website, if you're on the web app in a web browser, it works correctly. You're supposed to be able to vote in the Den.Social issues, which is the stuff in the governance tab that's labeled with the icon of the dragon there. Excuse me. You should be able to vote in these regardless of what lot you have. There was a misconception that you have to have lot to the Den.Social layer to be able to vote in Den.Social governance issues. But that's not true. Den.Social is for everyone site-wide to weigh in on how the platform should be run and things like that.
That's right. I completely forgot that.
Yeah. So the issue is on the app, on the Android and iPhone app, it does require you to have at least one Den.Social lot to be able to vote in the layer. because that's how other layers work. And so that slipped through, and that shouldn't be that way. So this is already passed for the next LCP. We're going to be doing number 3 and 5 by lore instead of number 8 and 13. But in the future, when you see Den.DAO governance issues, just know that if you have any amount of matter, if you've earned any amount of matter, and you have that in your account, and if you have any lot at all from any layer at all, or you have any amount of liquidity in the Uniswap V3 pool, specifically V3, and specifically the 1% fee tier, then you get not just some of the vote, but you get 2/3 of the vote without having any Den.DAO lot at all. The only people that have the Den.DAO lot are the founders vote, right? So the founders have the lot, and then the rest of the community is who really drives the ship, right? Now, some of the founders, like I have a couple of lot for Den.DAO, not a big chunk of it, but some, and but I also have some liquidity and I have some behavioral votes too. So the founders can also be owners and creators, and and creators can be owners and owners can be creators. You can do every role if you want, and you will get measured individually by your behavior, and the behavior decides what your say is, how much of a say you get in the votes. So that's pretty cool. You don't have to know that. That's like an advanced feature. I would consider it an advanced feature. A lot of people get confused about all the different tools, which is understandable. There's a lot. So yeah, there's that. So I will refresh and just go to my home screen here. I'm not subscribed to as many layers on the Decent Gains account, but I can bring them up. Have you seen any that you wanted to bring up at all, David?
No, sorry, but it sounds like there's a hurricane outside.
That's all right. I heard a little bit.
It's great. He's still standing there. We should go to the tattoo layer and take a look at that.
All right, I'll do that. You can just keep yourself muted. We'll keep the hurricane out of the stream for a minute. Let's do that. Let's jump into. I want to at least see what's been added so far into the new layers.
Okay, I think we're golden.
Okay, good. So let's see. What have I subscribed to? Everything tattoos. I did see some stuff in there.
Tattoo layers. Yeah. That's cool.
Dragon the Killer.
I expect my wife to be spending a lot of time in this layer. She was so excited for it.
I didn't realize. I know. I asked her about some things about tattoos locally, and she gave me a whole list of like, this tattoo artist and that tattoo shop that, and this person this and this.
She went hard.
I was like, hell yeah, wealth of information, huh?
Yeah, Jackie. If you ask Jackie a question, she will give you an answer, and it will probably be well thought out. Usually.
What else is in here?
Some Game of Thrones stuff, probably. I think so.
Dracarys?
I'm gonna say that's some good old Game of Thronesiness.
I don't know. I like it though.
I've never actually finished that show.
I never saw the middle. I read the first half of the first book, and then I watched the first season.
And then the world exploded about it.
And then I watched the 7th season or something, or maybe 6 and 7. I think I saw 6 and 7.
I got to point out really quick that over on Facebook, apparently my friend Maria just popped up and said it is definitely Game of Thrones. Hi, Maria.
Thank you. But no, I haven't seen it all either. Yeah, this is gonna make me get a tattoo.
You're gonna need a tattoo. I'm not getting a tattoo, but you can get one.
All right, so there's that. Let me see if anybody has posted in the other 2 layers. Now I gotta find them. Let me just go to my own post here.
Let's also babble about some nerd shit for a second.
Well, hang on. Well, okay, go ahead. Well, I'm just.
No, you're good. Continue.
Yeah. What about the nerd shit though?
No, I was gonna ask what. So you have a Lenovo laptop. You have a fairly nice one. What is the brain of your laptop? The processor. Do you remember?
It is an Intel. It's the only Intel chip I own.
Are you
I'm
sure?
Probably the second Intel. The other one is the duplicate of the. Oh wait, maybe it's not.
I'm positive your laptop is definitely not an Intel chip.
It wouldn't be if I had anything to do with it. Maybe
definitely a Ryzen chip.
Be right back. I got it.
Also, to the masses out there, I apologize to have segued us into a ball of nerd stuff. So I hope everyone's morning's going well.
See, that's more awkward when John's not here, isn't it?
Oh my God, you left me alone, and yeah.
Because now you got me questioning. I typically stay away from Intel chips, but this is a Ryzen 7, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so I ended up at the store the other day. We had some people come in, and they sold us some laptops, right? And one of them was a 4700U 8-core Ryzen 7.
Mm-hmm.
And it has a destroyed hinge, but the screen was fine. And I looked at the hinge and I was like, you know what? Epoxy is never the way I would fix a computer for a customer, but for myself, maybe. So I threw Craig $100 for it, and we ended up doing an epoxy job on it, and it held. And this thing is wildly quick. I've never had a laptop that's this fast. It's
nice.
I love her. She's got a nice bend in the corner, and I don't know if I feel
the 4800U might be. I don't know if that's Zen 2 or Zen 3, but both of them are good chips.
Yeah,
the first Zen CPU was good too, but it had a lot of limitations with memory and stuff like that. So I'm going to add a tag. I'm going to vote to add a tag in science and tech. That's what they're doing. Something else, just to segue back out of CPUs.
Yeah,
something else that new layers don't have is tags, right? Oh, why can't I vote? Do I have anything? Got a small vote. Why can't I vote? Is it done? Is it passed?
Maybe passed.
I'll have to look at that later and see why I can't vote. Oh, well. New tag. And then we've got some videos. So science and tech will be cool because we have science and space tech, and now we have science and tech. So I think the natural progression would be for sci-space and sci-tech. I just feel like sci-tech is going to be more terrestrial because it doesn't have the word space in it.
Terrestrial tech.
Yeah. So what's cool. Going on? And Nguma's got a lot of good content and a lot of other layers that I've seen too. So that'll be good. That'll be a good layer. That'll be cool. And then the other one, you know what it is? I bet you it's my mouse.
Oh, that's you posting about No Man's Sky.
Probably, yeah. I cannot. I need a new mouse. I just realized that it's my mouse. I've clicked my clicker too many times.
Wasn't it finally on its last legs or something like that? I know it was like double clicking for you for a while.
No, that was the other one.
This is it. Oh my God.
And then the last one was mining. So mining is interesting for a couple of reasons. One, because I love mining. It's like a hobby that I never got sick of. And then also we might be making a mining DAO to where we use these lot as owners in the DAO to there's some stuff we got to figure out still. But the idea is to own and operate as a DAO some mining gear. Even if we co-locate it somewhere else, like there are facilities that specifically are set up to be mining facilities where you can purchase a piece of equipment, a mining rig, a loud power consuming thing. And depending on your host, where you co-locate, you can either have a very good power bill or you could have very clean power source, energy source, so you're not burning fossil fuels to do it, or both. And so that's what we're thinking. It's like we co-locate somewhere, we pay a fee for somebody else to maintain and operate, but we own the equipment and we get all the payouts after the fees. So that would be cool because then you could just scale
the whole
up.
Mining layer just owns some mining equipment.
That's the idea, yeah.
That would be pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's the idea, and then would also get a whatever portion of the profits that correspond to their governance vote. You know what I mean? That kind of thing that correspond to basically how many of these tokens they have. And that'll make this layer really valuable. And once we get the internal like lot marketplace going, where you can buy these from another user directly with your matter, that just gives more of an enticing market. Like, oh man, the mining layer lot comes with passive income on Den and passive income from the mining stuff at the same time. So that'll be cool too.
I do own the tiniest sliver of the mining layer.
Yeah, I don't know what I got. I was way too much at first, so I didn't buy a whole lot more after it started
I
getting.
have 0.01%.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah, that's enough to give you the ability to post, but also free edits. Anybody can post, but free edits. So you're down here somewhere. You're not the least though. You got more than 9 people.
Oh, I'm not the least. Awesome.
No, yeah. So that's a good place to be. Not last.
If you ain't first, you're last.
Cool.
Okay, what was that from? I don't remember.
Probably Talladega Nights.
I think it was.
If you ain't first, you're last.
God, I remember when Will Ferrell was popular.
I've been watching his movies again. I've been showing Tina. We watched Step Brothers. She loved it. It's great.
Do you want to see? Have you seen? He does a movie called Everything Must Go, and it's horribly depressing. Like, it's not a funny movie. It tries, but he like is a depressed alcoholic whose wife is leaving him, and he sells everything in his front lawn for beer, essentially. And it's terrible. My cousin Connor and I were going to watch a funny movie, and we ended up just sad afterwards.
Yeah, that happens.
He also did one completely in Spanish.
Hey, Dragon Chain Holder responded already to the discussion about not really advertising it to all your friends because you want to keep the secret because it's small market cap and this and that and it's fun. Agree, not a bad thing to grow and expand, but I do think many want to keep it a secret because of how the low market cap is and how amazing fun the platform is. Decentralized socials will run, and we are one of the best built, if not the best.
That is another reason that I want to point out as well that I like that it's small still at the moment, because we see a lot of the same names posting semi-regularly. But I kind of like that. Like, these are people that I kind of grown I guess you want to say like a mild attachment to in the community. So I kind of like that it's tiny still. I want it to be huge and grow.
When I was telling John about it, I was telling him like, hey, there's this thing, yada yada. There's not a whole bunch of people on it yet. It's just kind of people that are interested in sort of building it along the way early on. And he said, oh, it's perfect. That's what I want. I want something that's got nobody on it but just my friends.
Yeah, nobody but like people I just want to see stuff from.
Yeah. So yeah, it depends on the
at
person.
some point as things go, but that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I think decentralized socials will run too. I think that it's going to be. I mean, shit. Look at. I don't want to talk about Elon because everybody is, but that him buying Twitter and everybody talking about the implications of that is interesting, not because I'm pro or anti that, but because people are talking about it and they're talking about the implications of it and they're talking about what he says about the algorithm and about censorship and about the merits of privacy and about the merits of treating humans fairly and about whether or not we should have a free open forum or town square style concept, or if it should be an authoritarian like you can only say what we like or what the government tells us to allow. There's a lot of people for all of the nation state interference on social media to make people think a certain way. Surprisingly to me, there are. So the conversation around Elon buying Twitter is wild because what he wants to do is he wants to open source the Twitter algorithm, the stuff that decides ranking and decides visibility and decides who gets auto banned, who gets shadow banned, who gets banned and they don't know they're banned, what keywords you're allowed to say and which ones gets your message automatically deleted before it even goes through. All of that stuff, he wants to open source it so that we can see, what kind of fuckery is going on.
The most lovely proof that could possibly be handed down. It's like, here.
Yeah. And so, this is like to me, it's a human rights issue. It's a necessity. I agree with Elon personally. It's a necessity. Free speech, open forum is a necessity for civilization to progress. But That's not the important thing. The important thing is that people are talking about that and that people are agreeing or disagreeing. That's great. People are drawing lines in the sand. People are either demonstrating what they believe in and how they think, or they are demonstrating where they draw the line. And I don't know if I like that so much just because it shows me like what side everyone's on, or if it's because I just didn't think people cared. And now I kind of feel more hopeful that people seem to care enough to want to talk about it all the fucking time. And so if people are caring, and this is in a roundabout way, getting back to the point of what Dragon Chain Hodler said, which is that decentralized socials will run. I think they will. And I think that this is one of the catalysts, people starting to think about what a social network should or can be if we design it from the ground up, with today's tech instead of yesteryear. And the DAO concept, decentralized autonomous organizations. I was reading this morning on Cointelegraph about a project that's doing something we want to do in Gainesville, a real estate investment group, where they have an LLC and they're forming a DAO so that people can all chip in and buy property and then control it and get whatever proceeds from the rent or whatever the profits are, right? That's a DAO. With DAOs coming around and getting hot, and Den being a turnkey DAO platform where you can come in with anybody who supports your cause, whether they're into crypto or whether they know how to use blockchain. They don't even have to know that they're using a DAO. They can just come in and like start voting on stuff. You as a company put the proposals up. Hey, we're looking at buying this building. What should we do with it? Should we bulldoze it and build a new one? Should we, hire these people or rent to these people? Should we, I don't know, whatever decisions need to be made in the company. Decentralizing those and embedding that DAO platform onto a social platform or into a social platform, I think the positioning is fantastic. Like speculation wise, I can just see the positioning is like, man, everything that everybody wants to do more and more month by month, we're getting to the point where you can kind of just do it all here.
Yep.
So even if you're not on Ethereum, like we're working on the DL, we're working on bringing in another NFT project like similar to Sticky DAO, where they're on not Ethereum, they're on a different network. So that would be cool. I think that's happening. It's delayed a little bit because of some reasons, but like that's a demonstration of, hey, it doesn't matter where you are, come to Den, we'll integrate your token, so you can use the governance features with your own token, and DAOs will talk to each other eventually and be like, man, that looks pretty easy. Let's go do that.
If you make it easy enough, people will just be like, that's the best option.
And you don't need to know how to use a DEX, and you don't need to know how to use like a bunch of complicated Web3 stuff. The most complicated thing you have to do regarding that is claim your wallet. So if you can figure out how to claim your MetaMask wallet on Den, then you can do all of the DAO decentralized governance stuff through here, even if it's on a different platform, and you can get the superpower, which is average people. Not just your crypto bros and your techies, but your average person, concerned citizen who believes in your mission can join your project, support you, and be rewarded by doing so. I think so.
If some of my customers can manage to let thieves into their computer while trying to reset their Facebook password, I'm sure they can figure out how to claim a wallet.
Well, the thieves, in their defense, the thieves typically get remote access and do it themselves.
Yeah, usually they do it that way.
Okie dokie. Let's see what's on Den.
Yeah, I haven't even looked around the site very much in the past few days.
Well, good. Then we'll come at it fresh.
Let's go look.
So I'm going to go up here to the top, and I'm going to click on this clock, and it's going to turn into a flame. And that's going to say, give me stuff that people have already voted on, and show me trending stuff first, right?
Are you ready for 100 Elon memes?
Is that what's there?
Because that's what you're gonna get.
Awesome. Well, I'm subscribed to different layers on this account, so maybe not.
Oh, it's bled over to most places.
The best graffiti in the world posts keep coming.
I like those.
That's a consistent post. I see that.
I also love Current Situation. It's my favorite place to post, I think.
What else have we got? Abyssal fishes. Say that 5 times fast. Look at that boat. The front of it. It's all ice, man.
Oh my god.
Oh, weird. What is that? Oh, weird.
I don't like that either. See, this is why I don't go to the ocean very often.
This is why you don't go into the abyss.
Like, what is that? Why is that? Better question.
That is a... I love that face.
There's a de-evolved Pokemon.
Oh,
That's its
octopi.
mouth.
Oh, look at this flipper thing
Yeah.
on the end of his octopus leg.
Is he like... It looks like somebody smashed it.
Yeah.
Oh, that looks like a lizard.
Yeah, it does.
Speaking of which, my boy is not...
There's a bunch of weird... There's a bunch of... This is a good post. There's a bunch of weird fish in here.
Oh,
What is
Arthur,
this?
this was not the time for that.
You see this thing, man? There's an eyeball on top of the head.
I don't like
This
that.
This came from The Simpsons in the
pond behind the
pond by the nuclear power plant.
by the power plant,
Yeah, this is
which
my
I believe
favorite.
is where Springfield gets most of its food.
This one's great. This is the anglerfish or something.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
Ugh.
I don't know what that is.
That's
What
the
part of
facehugger
that?
from Alien.
Yeah, I don't like that exists on the planet.
Oh man. Imagine going fishing and you pull up something like this guy.
There's another one. No.
He's keeping an eye on whatever's up there.
So apparently, like I was watching this. There's this guy on the magical interwebs he plays like a fish biologist, I guess.
Yeah.
And he makes fun of all the crappy fish videos, like the look at the megalodon. And it's like there's no goddamn megalodon. But apparently, a lot of these fish look way different underwater. What is that?
I'm imagining that he's not always puking his stomach out.
He's probably not always vomiting profusely, or
You
maybe
think
he
it's
is.
because of the pressure difference.
Yeah,
Especially being like what do they say?
it's a
Abyss.
mantis shrimp.
The abyss. Really deep.
Abyssal. Yeah, it's very pressure. That's a Pokemon.
It's like a squidfish.
A squidfish? It looks like it can fly.
Oh, yeah, underwater.
Well, that's kind of cool.
Oh, weird. That's like a starfish, but
The ocean is terrifying. So is this guy just work on a boat or something?
I don't know. These are all from the same person. From
So is there
the
any context?
RFEDOR Resorts of official account. So yeah. How many?
That's a
of these? I
spiky
keep
crab.
scrolling and they keep existing.
Ocean scorpion? What?
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah, look.
That's creepy. Oh, okay. Has anybody? I'm sure somebody out there has. Anybody played Shadow of the Colossus on the PS2? You really should. You've got a PS4, don't you?
I know of it. Yeah, I got one. I bought it just for Final Fantasy VII Remake.
I have the remastered version of Shadow of the Colossus you can borrow. It's really good. So there's the 8th one that you fight is in like a coliseum, and he's like a big old sand lizard creature, and he looks like that. Not like that, like the scorpion guy.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I just keep scrolling and they keep surprising me.
No, you're fine. I'm still just surprised that there's this many. Like, what purpose does that thing serve? What does that do?
This is it's probably food.
It's a plumbus.
It's a cucumber.
It's probably food.
A sea squash.
That one's cool.
Oh,
There's
nice.
so many of these.
I've heard that we know even
That one's
less
kinda
about
cute.
what's in the ocean down there than what's in space or something. I don't know how true that is, but I believe that there's a lot we don't know.
I think that's true.
That's cool. So who's that? Who did this? Tom. Thanks, Tom.
Good old Tom. Also,
That's
Tom is missing out on a huge opportunity by not having his picture be Tom from Facebook or
Oh, right.
MySpace.
Yeah, Facebook will be like MySpace eventually. Oh, remember Facebook?
Oh, you remember that shit? Yeah, I remember that. Remember when they stole all of our data and tried to change the way we think? Yeah, I remember that shit.
You see, you've seen this, right? The drones.
No, what is this?
It's drones as fireworks.
What?
So they have like 300 drones, and they're all programmed together. Let's see. To see
Oh, that's cool.
So it makes it look like a whale swimming through the air or whatever.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Can you imagine all of those crashing into each other at once?
Big mushroom. They all just fly into formation.
That would scare the shit out of somebody. This is giving me ideas, Dave.
Yeah,
right?
Not
good ideas. Like, what can we do with a bunch of drones?
300 drones and
and a whole lot of software that I don't know how to use.
Let's see what they do in this last one here.
And a degree, probably.
Come on, do some drones. I see fireworks. Do some drones.
It just lights up a huge obscenity.
Should I try to read this in Spanish, or would that be so bad that it's offensive?
It would be so bad that it's offensive. I'm going to vote.
Okay. Oh, there's some good photos in here of it, too.
Oh,
cool.
There was the...
Oh, that's nice.
That's wild.
Yeah.
What a freaking world we live in.
So this is like the casual users thing. They might not even log in. They might just browse the top post, you know?
Honestly, this is what I do a couple of times a day. I just kind of sit there and flip through and see what people are doing.
Ah, cool. Somebody put the Optimism airdrop in cryptocurrency. Cool. Thanks for the info. I saw that, or I put that over in airdrops too.
I should pay attention to airdrops more.
Airdrops is like a list of potentially free money for you, is what that is. It's like, hey, here's
when you word it like that.
Well, yeah, it's if you do these things, they will send your wallet tokens whenever they create their token.
Oh, okay.
That's all it is.
Yeah, I should really probably pay more attention to those.
Combined gold Bitcoin.
Is anything going on the history layer? There's always something good in there.
History is a pretty good layer from what I've seen. I haven't been there, but every time I go in there, it's reliably good. Oh, also we have Derox has been translating the Den FAQ into Polish.
I saw that.
So thank you. I'm going to put, how much do I have? I've only got 440 left, so I'm going to put a bunch, but relative to what I have left. So that's great, actually, because there's a lot of information in there, a lot of specific questions in there. And so having localization is really, really good. That's great. So maybe knowing that, I don't know, I've thought about doing something like I used to do for the bands I manage, just kind of like doing targeted advertising on Facebook for Den to poach their users.
you know, we could do that.
Like I could pay Facebook to target the Polish translation to Poland and be like, hey, one of our users just translated our FAQ into Polish. Give it a read.
Take a look at it.
See what you think. And maybe that'll get people interested, you know? Cool. What do you got over there?
Nothing at the moment.
Oh, okay.
Oh, actually, if you go over to the history layer, there's something cool about old mummies.
Aren't they all old?
Well, I mean, all
new mummies.
That's a good question, and I'm going to Google that now. Are there new mummies?
So there's a game called Dusk, or there's a
better wording. Can you be mummified?
Oh, Million on Mars is the name. Million on Mars, space colonization fantasy game on Wax. If you don't know Wax, Wax is something that I dismissed a while back because I did not like EOS, and they were just like EOS, I thought. But they've become really, really user friendly for people that want to get into.
I have to tap out here for a second, or I'm going to have to deal with a huge before I leave for work. So give me just one second.
Go for it. But yeah, Wax. I was at when I was in Miami, there was what was their name? It was something Blocks, right? Nefty Blocks, Nefty. There was Nefty Blocks was there talking about their Wax blockchain-based infrastructure for, not infrastructure, their toolkits for, not toolkits. What do you call them? They had tools for people to make NFTs without knowing how to make NFTs, basically. It's a very easy way to mint them. And they have an entire marketplace that's incentivized. And they have a decent community over there too. So I may have to eat my hat and go check out Wax again, because they are coming up with some interesting games over there, and they are coming up with some interesting NFT marketplaces over there too, and integrating those into games together. So this looks cool. You got to buy. That's pretty popular lately too. Is like land sales. You got to buy some land in the game, and then you can play it or whatever. You know what I mean? But it looks like you earn this Dusk thing, so it could be one of those play to earn games, which is cool. But it is more like, yeah, if you have to buy land, then there's a token like of entry, cost of entry. I don't know. I'll look into it. So thank you, Cotton88, for that info, because I'm working a lot in like blockchain stuff, and I am a very, very have an addictive personality when it comes to video games. I can sit and play video games for like 18 hours and it's fine, but I don't have time to do that shit anymore. So what I have to figure out how to do is to integrate that into something that is productive with what I'm trying to do now for a living, which is, get people to use better technology for profit. So let's see here. Let's go through some of the posts or some of the replies. Thanks again for Maria for clarifying that tattoo was Game of Thrones. Twitter is centralized regardless if it is publicly traded or owned by Musk. I agree. It is arguably the same, right? It's just a matter of who is calling the shots. And even Jack Dorsey, after he left Twitter, came out and said a lot of things about Twitter and the board that he wouldn't have said if he was still the CEO, I think, because they could have fired him. But, he's commented on regretting the way that he built Twitter. He's commented on the board being inept at Twitter. So there seems like a lot of room for disruption there. I agree with Elon in this other thing too, which is that Twitter could be very profitable. Twitter could be very fair. It could be very reliable as far as like the information that's presented by people. As far as misinformation goes, it could be mitigated if done differently. The problem is that there has not been a desire by the company to do things better. The problem is that, in my opinion, the profit, they kind of got into and I think Facebook's done this, but they kind of got into a sunk cost fallacy situation, I personally believed, where we just need to be doing more of this because this drives profit. And it doesn't matter that it's, the morals don't matter, the profit matters. And if this one thing is doing enough to get you some kind of profit, then a lot of companies will say, well, do some more of that one thing. Instead of just throwing away work and starting over, which they should fucking do. So what else?
I came in at a perfect time.
Yeah, totally. And then no EOS, no Solana, Wax is good, AVAX is okay, bigger fan of Polygon.
If you want to blame anybody for my absence there, blame this little bastard.
Okay.
Anybody who's ever owned one of these knows what I just had to deal with.
The dragon?
Yeah. Unfortunately, we want to get mildly gross for a second. He decided to poop, and they like to run through it if you don't clean it immediately. So I looked over and I was like, give me like 10 seconds, guy. And he was like, no, I'm going to inch closer to it. I'm going to inch closer to it.
So they go through their poop as a like...
Yeah, he gets pissed off. So this one in particular, he hates when I leave anything in his tank. So, I mean, obviously I'm cleanly, so I clean up after him immediately when I know it's there. But if it's there, he'll like go and like run through it and get all pissed off about it and then like jump into his water dish to clean himself off. And then I come home and it's terrible. So... yeah, welcome to having a lizard.
I'm glad that Daedra doesn't roll. Well, she does. She only rolls in other dogs' poop.
That's still terrible.
Not her own. Yeah, well,
at least she has the morale.
Not if we catch her first. And she doesn't always do it, but every now and then, like you see her rolling, and I'll be like, she is, isn't she? All right.
She's such a cute dog, though. I love her.
Yeah. Something else that I am said was. posting content for a living is a better use of time, in my opinion. I'm hopeful for Den can do this for many low-income people around the world. ETH fees need to be addressed. I'm on board with that 100%. I am with the ETH fees. I don't want to keep waiting on Ethereum, but I do want to see what their proof of stake shift does. I don't think it's going to be a dramatic. I don't think we're going to go back to like pennies for a transaction fee, which I would love. That would be so really good for Ethereum. That's an engineering choice by them, right? There's a lot of people. Well, there's a lot of speculation, and then what I'm about to say is speculation too. But there's a lot of people who control the direction of Ethereum who also are heavily into profiting off of fees and mining and stuff like that. And so I don't know what's going on, except for the end result is that the developers who do have the ability to get code in and make changes happen and vote with enough weight to push it through have decided that they don't want to address the fee problem on Ethereum. They think it's fine to pay a couple $100 for a transaction, I guess, you know. $4 to $6. $4 to $6 is unacceptable for, so there's different types of transactions on Ethereum. $4 to $6 is unacceptable, especially if it is a token transfer, right? It's cheaper to do. Let's look at fees for a second, because you can go where we were a minute ago on Etherscan and get kind of a estimated like gas estimator, right? And it'll tell you for a regular transfer, for a token transfer, right? ERC20 transfer. Whoops, go back. Where did I go? Boom, boom, boom. Typical ERC20 transfer is going to cost you right now about $15. So if I wanted to send you $15, it would cost me $15 to send you $15.
It's way too much.
So you would receive $15 and I would lose $30.
$30.
You know what I mean? So that's where we are right now. Now, if on the other hand, this 4 to 6, if that's for an ERC20 transfer, no, that's nothing that is an improvement at all. Technically, the number went down a little bit, but that's still too much. If, on the other hand, that is a Uniswap or a, let's see, what else is in here? What is something that I could relate to what we're doing on Den? What is it most like? Tornado Cash. They got a lot of them on here. Interesting. They only used to have a few. OpenSea, maybe OpenSea. Anyway, you can see some of them. Like, let's use Curve. This is along the lines of the fees that I've been seeing for Den, right? So if that fee is $4 to $6 for a smart contract interaction, to where I want to move Matter out of Den onto Ethereum, if that is $4 to $6 instead of $140, that's a substantial improvement, and that creates a better situation for denizens, and we might be able to work with that. But if that's just the ERC20, that means you're still going to see $100 for a transaction fee whenever you want to do a complicated or a more complex smart contract interaction. So, yeah. What else we have here? Typo, smart oh yeah, hold on. Let me read the Polygon. I don't want to get too technical on this, but like basically Polygon is a way to use Ethereum without the fees. There's some hoops you jump through, but once you're there, and the transaction fee is super, super small. Polygon has ETH addresses interchangeable. That's correct. I remember I signed up for a whitelist spot for the Eden game that Interplay is making, and they asked for a Polygon address, and it's just it was confusing to some people, but it's just your Ether address. So these are all networks that exist because of Ether's gas problem. So my other conspiracy theory is that there's other people involved in these other networks that also have governance say in the Ethereum project, and they don't want the gas to go down either, because then that would obsolete their whole project, right?
That is some big brain conspiracy right there.
Yeah, like what if literally Polygon is like, shit, dude, if Ethereum fees go down to a couple of pennies, we're not going to exist anymore.
Screwed.
Yeah. So I'm sure there's all kinds of stuff like that going on, keeping, stuff artificially stagnant. And it sucks because people are infighting and in less tribal than we used to be even a year ago. I think dramatically less. But still to the point where there's, I don't know what the holdup with the decision-making process is, but they were supposed to do this 2 years ago. And they keep delaying and delaying it. Now it's like, oh, this isn't even going to fix the fees. So it'll literally just be a switch from proof of work to proof of stake. And it'll use less electricity and have more centralization. And I don't know. I got to look closer into the details. So yeah, end of the story is Ether gas won't be corrected. Hashtag sad.
It sucks.
But depending on how true that is when it happens, and depending on the priorities on Den, just use something else, Might have to just use something else. That'll take some time and some work to integrate, but I would love to see a system where, you go into your wallet, like right now, you can go in, you can make your MetaMask, and you can transfer Matter, right, in and out of Den to Ethereum. Right. I would love for there to be options to be like transfer, and then you send it to Ethereum, or you send it to Polygon directly, or you send it to Wax. Right. You can literally have Matter on Wax, and it's the same token, but you use Dragon Chain's patents to allow Den to have their token wherever they need it to, and wherever the community is paying less. And maybe there's a very good reason to pick one or the other, but I imagine it's going to be pressure to do that, especially after we get some of these bigger features out, like the marketplace and the DMs and the proof reports and the whole list of stuff. Then we're going to be, maybe that's what comes with some of this quality of life stuff. It's like, okay, it all works. Now, how do we make it way easier and way cheaper and whatever for the end user? Wrapped Matter on Polygon. Yeah, that's an option. That can be done. If anybody has the skill and the time, you're welcome to do that yourself. But that can be done by us too. It's just a matter of when it gets done, right? Like I want to, assuming we had to pick one, I would be more interested in getting something that I saw demonstrated in Miami at Monerotopia, where all the developers meet up and talk about what they're doing, what's coming. So on the StageNet, I saw atomic swaps between Ethereum and Monero. And then I spoke with the author then, and we've caught up on email a couple of times back and forth since the conference, and talked about how ERC20 atomic swaps would work. And the way all an atomic swap is two parties peer-to-peer making a swap. And it just says atomic just means it either happens or it doesn't. It doesn't get stuck somewhere. You're not going to like lose the money. It'll either end up in the person's account and the swap will happen, or it doesn't. But being able to do that with an ERC20 means we could literally have atomic swaps between Matter and Monero, where there's a very good liquidity on Monero. And if it's atomic swaps, then you're just going to be swapping between, you're basically going to be needing someone mining Monero who also wants Matter tokens, which could be me, I don't know. And you would do a swap with a miner, like just directly on the network with the Matter token. So that's one way to get not Matter out to Monero, but to get the value out without paying that Ethereum fee. So there's a bunch of interesting things that could be done. All of it could be done. It's just a matter of time and cost of implementation, and then with prioritization of features, right? We're doing a sort of it's done when it's done cadence, and pivoting every time not pivoting, but reassessing every time a feature is complete, and doing, this is the Den.DAO governance thing I was talking about, putting up a prioritization list and having anybody on Den who has any amount of interaction and participation, regardless of how many lot they hold, to vote on that and say, here's the features we all want next, right? So yeah, we'll see how that's directed.
Got to jump in here and say I've got a scoop.
It is 10 after 11 minutes.
After 11, I got one thing I have to say though that pertains to what you asked earlier. Yeah, there are new mummies, and you can absolutely be mummified when you're dead. And apparently they send you to Salt Lake City, and they cut all your organs out, and then they put them in jars and dry them, and then put them back in your body and cover you in silk and then resin and put you in a brass or stainless steel sarcophagus and then put you in their pyramid.
And the Mormons are doing this?
Probably, I would assume, seeing as it's Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
But holy shit, I think I finally figured out what I want to happen when I die.
Interesting. If anyone doesn't know, Salt Lake City is a metropolis of Mormon influence.
So hold on, before we go, I have to say this too. Did you see the play, The Book of Mormon, by chance?
No, but I heard all about it.
It was wonderful. It was funny.
I heard it was. I heard it was really, really good because it was relatively accurate.
Yeah, 100%. Now, here's the thing: the Mormons pulled off one of the greatest pieces of advertisement I've ever seen, and on the back of the playbill for the Book of Mormon, it says, you've seen the play, now read the book. And it's a book, like it's an advertisement for the Mormon church. So then, instead of being pissed off about the show, they were like, you know what, we're going to advertise off of that, which is hilarious.
Oh, I just did that thing where I put a response in chat and forgot that it was going out on the multi-response thing, but that's fine.
Well,
I Am For I Am was a Mormon. I didn't realize that.
That's cool.
Yeah, I would love to pick their brain about what that was about.
That'd be interesting.
No, look who's here. Do you know who this is?
No.
I don't know where you live right now, bro, but hello, good to see you. Thanks for popping in.
Who is this? Should I know this person?
It's a friend of mine that I haven't seen in a long time.
Oh, that's cool.
You've met Carl.
Carl
would come out to, like when I was living in High Springs, to Jim's house and stuff.
Wait a minute, I'm drawing.
High Springs, Carl. You're from High Springs.
Okay, I know who this person is. Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah. Anyway, great to see you, buddy. Glad you're alive. Hope you're doing well. I have heard that you're set up with a nice spot out west, and so congratulations on that. I'm doing this thing called Den.Social. You should come on and check it out.
You should keep talking about that. Y'all have a great morning. I gotta scoot.
Dave, go to work. Last thing I want to say to you is let's catch up later about mining layer, because we need to make a sizable purchase on Ryzen CPUs.
That's fine. Give me today is Wednesday, so the store's probably not going to be particularly busy. Cool. So I'll be in session most of the day. Also, we should chat later anyways, because we mentioned possibly playing Fallout 2 earlier. And if we're going to do anything where I'm like sitting in the background watching you play a game, I want to play Fallout 2. That'll be a blast. Yeah,
I already have a tentatively scheduled for the middle of next month, a teach me how to play Civ 6 session that will stream on the gaming layer, because like I suck at it, but I love it. But my friend is like, I'm really good at it. I play too much. Let me teach you. And I was like, let's broadcast it, make money.
I'll pick up a copy of Civ 6 because that actually sounds fun.
It's fantastic. Go to work. I'll see you later. Bye, David. And then there was one. So yeah, I don't know what I was just talking about, but let's go back to the agenda and see where we are. It's a quarter after 11, so I should probably wrap up anyway. But you know me, I like to just hang out sometimes and keep talking. And with that, here's what I'll say is I'm starting a thing on Mondays. It's not a show. It is a live stream though, and it is and it's at the same time as this one on Wednesday, and it's just me. But basically what I'm doing is I'm going through Den, and it's Monday morning, so I'm getting ready for my week, and I'm at my desk, and I'm working anyway. Monero feeds, that's where we were. Thanks for reminding me, I Am For I Am. And so I'm doing like a office hours Monday mornings, and I'm in chat usually in the Gainesville layer, because I'm doing this thing in Gainesville and focusing on that and using it as sort of a help desk. But then also general like Den.Social support stuff, you can throw something in that chat room in that layer too, and I'll see it. So Mondays, if anybody has specific things they want to demo, like excuse me, have any coffee left? Yes, one moment. Carl, if you are interested, then we can even do that on Monday too, or I can show you how to use this thing. And also, it's a good time for anybody who just wants to link up on a Google conference call. We don't have to broadcast it. I can just schedule it for later, but I just do it live and say, here's how this works and here's how that works, taking questions and stuff. We were talking about, and that's a good point, Monero fees. So fees are the biggest thing with getting matter, getting value out of Den. After you earn it, you got to transfer it out to an exchange if that's what you want, if that's your goal, right? You could leave it in Den and earn lore with it, and then that lore you can use to vote in the LCP, which if that layer wins, you get the ownership of the layer and the passive income that comes with it. So it depends. If you want to stake your matter, it's already automatically staking as soon as you earn it on Den. And we have, actually I had the payouts in front of me a second ago. Let me look at it here. You have payouts based on how much you hold. There's some things that are still not implemented, but for example, if you hold MTR that you earn, you get paid out lore. And when you get paid out that lore, not only can you go vote for it, but the lore itself will pay out more lore just for holding that, right? And so the incentive there is to hold it, stake it, get the lore, use that to get lot, which once again, if you have lot, also staking and earning matter. So the more of all of these that you participate in and hold, the more matter you get passively by not doing anything on the platform, which is cool. So if you want to use the early days of Den to just build up your positioning to be like more able to utilize the different features of the platform once it does get like bigger and more people are onboarded and the fees are fixed and all that stuff, that's an option. But yeah, if you are somebody, I guess I'll end this way. I'll say that if you're somebody who's needing a side gig where you're literally taking that matter you earn and using that as some income, yeah, a lot of it's getting eaten up in fees. The fees are going to the miners on the network, or in Ethereum's case, being burned for no one's good in a lot of cases. So that's an issue. But it is a software issue, right? So it can be solved at some point. Let's see. When will DM be implemented on Den? Directly after this next chat update. Right now, the chat is being updated with a feature that will let you see the posts in the main layer as they're posted. They'll just be squeezed into chat, just like a normal message or whatever. So you don't have to leave to go back to it and stuff. So that's what's being readied to implement now. That might come out, what's today, Wednesday? That might be out this week. It could be out next week. We'll know more Thursday on the Den DAO governance call, but DMs will be the next thing that come after that. We were talking about it internally yesterday. We have meetings on Tuesdays, and we were talking about DMs yesterday. So I know that we went through the specifics. We went through to make sure that all of the different goals we're still on the same page with that, and that the devs have everything they need. So yeah, that's where we are on that. And swing by on I appreciate you too. I am because you're very involved, and that's what we need is involved builders, right? And you are one. Oh, thank you. I didn't intend to be an ambassador of Den, but I've kind of taken that role, and I'm comfortable with it now. And so I'll just keep on keeping on. I believe in the platform a lot. I personally think that it's an important tool. I think that anything like Den, even if it's not Den, is an important addition to humans having tools to maintain their communities and their lives and their value themselves without it being siphoned off to some centralized mega corporation. I believe in a lot of this stuff, and I've done a lot of stuff in my life that I feel like I have a pretty unique angle on what it would take, how to get there. But I need a lot of brain power to help me figure that shit out too, which is why I'm very thankful for all of you. So I think I'll close out there and say thank you once again for joining us with Coffee with Den. I'm glad T Swift or Die was able to chime in there and show us a little bit more of his interesting artwork. I think that'll be a really great, it's got to be something tongue-in-cheek or something like self-referencing to where it's it's a shitcoin collection, or like we talked about last time, where you take a screenshot that includes the paint interface from like MS Paint that you made it on or something, just to make it like it doesn't matter. Like, what am I trying to say? There's value in that collection, even though it's silly, because it was created in a unique situation that others were involved in. And so maybe somebody who was watching the show might be like, you know what? I'm gonna grab those John NFTs, for no other reason than like I was there when he made that. I'm gonna grab that, So maybe we'll mint it on Polygon, like I Am was talking about, to keep the fees low. I bought one on Polygon recently. Had a bad experience, not gonna lie. Thought I lost my funds in the bridge. Did it all through OpenSea with the easy mode buttons and everything, but still it took me like 2 days to then go recover. Well, I took 2 days because after 40 minutes it was still stuck. So came back, finished the process a different day, and it worked. But yeah, we'll have to see what maybe we'll publish them on Wax with that Nifty Blocks thing I was talking about. So all right, that's what I've got. Come back next time. Join the call if you want. Leave comments whenever you see the posts go up. And then once again, there's 4 shows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shows on Den every week now. Getting closer to that TV guide status. We need a Friday show, or someone does. I Am. You can come on and do an arbitrage show and talk about how to make money by arbing between centralized exchanges or something, right? Or maybe I have a suspicion that there will be a show in the cannabis layer sooner than later. Been making some moves to get specific people involved there who have good content to add. So maybe a show there on Friday. That would be a good end of the week show, right? In the cannabis layer on Friday, end of day, talk about the week. Maybe I talked myself into doing that. All right, throw something into chat or into the reply section of this if you want to talk about anything that we talked here today on. And besides that, I'll just see you next time. I'm going to see you for World Blockchain Roundtable tomorrow and Den.DAO. So WBRT at 11 a.m. Eastern, Den.DAO at 3 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be a good time. See everybody then. Thanks again. This has been Coffee with Den.
Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best.
Adaptable, all capital, label radical yet rational. A tactical approach is palpable if this animal is fallible, but that conclusion is laughable. So with for all detachable from the mandible, you see it now.